Well, we tried to stuff things up yesterday, but eventually we got our hands on the 2 Bundesliga trophy. You can see it here. Seeing as we've actually finally got our act into gear off the back of there being no pressure off the back of those rough results. Today, we play our final game of the season and do the end of season review before we make our way up to the Bundesliga. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 60 of the Leipzig Loko with Lokomotive Leipzig here on Sean Does FM. I hope you are doing well and coming up today. We play our last game of this 2 Bundesliga season, hopefully the last game that we'll play in the 2 Bundesliga as we take on 1860 Munich, and off the back of that we'll get stuck in to the end of season review stuff, already having wrapped up the title and promotion up to the Bundesliga for next season. So if you're looking forward to that coming up in today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But in yesterday's episode, we did secure our passage up to the Bundesliga for next season, and also eventually did clinch the title as well. To go along with that, if you missed that episode, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Our form during that episode, especially when the pressure actually went on, wasn't that good. Losses back-to-back to Heidenheim and Fortuna Düsseldorf before a draw against Holstein Kiel, and a loss by Fortuna Düsseldorf was enough for us to secure the title. Off the back of that, just typically, our form has come back with wins over Nuremberg and Jan Regensburg, of course, 2 teams who last season were up in the Bundesliga. We left it very late to pick up a win over Nuremberg, but thankfully Daniel Cueto with a deep injury time goal meant we got back on track there with a 2-1 win at home, and in our best performance in a long time, as you can tell by the score sheet, 4-0 over Jan Regensburg away from home this game. We were well and truly on the back foot in the first half, but somehow went into the sheds with a 1-0 lead thanks to Tom Gale, and from there, business really picked up in that second half. A comprehensive win, albeit unfortunately, Osman Tilgen did pick up an injury, but with only 1 game left in the season and nothing for us to play for, that shouldn't have too much impact apart from our starting lineup in this upcoming game. And what that means for the 2 Bundesliga table going into this final match day, unfortunately, there's not actually a lot for us to play for in our game because all 3 spots for promotion have already been sealed. We are going up as champions. Fortuna Düsseldorf, as expected, go up in 2nd place, and Bochum have already locked up a spot to be playing a promotion playoff against the 3rd bottom team from the Bundesliga, so there's nothing to play for. It did look like yesterday 1860 Munich still had somewhat of a chance to make that 3rd spot. Unfortunately, that is not going to be the case, so really a bit of a celebration game for us here, and hopefully we can finish the season on a high and pick up 1 more win in the 2 Bundesliga. We've already set a record for the most points ever in this division, so hopefully we can get above the 80-point mark even with that injury to Osman Tilgen, and also a couple of players who are sitting on yellow cards. We might not risk them just to make sure they won't be missing any games come the early stages of next season, because that would be a little bit needless with the situation that we do find ourselves in. But hopefully we can end the season with 3 straight wins. We'll come back shortly and host 1860 Munich. And here are the team sheets for this last game of the 2 Bundesliga season. Nothing writing on it, and because of that we've made some changes thanks to yellow cards in the attacking area. We've got Imham starting over Cueto in the cam role, and also Davida over Krasnicki. Also, of course, because of that injury to a Tilgen, we have got Baker Boeti at left wing, so it's just our attacking midfield where the changes come from that 4-0 win over Jan Regensburg. But hopefully we can still end the season on a high and go above that 80-point mark. And it's been a first half of few highlights so far, although we have been on the front foot stats-wise, but we eventually get the ball, albeit a bit of a deflected cross there. It does go back out to an 1860 Munich player, albeit it is poorly cleared away, but then Imhan there with a good chance from a header. Unfortunately, that one comes off the crossbar and doesn't quite find its way to a teammate to bundle it over the line. So still 0-0 here coming up to the half-hour mark, but now another highlight, and we try and play the ball out of defence, albeit poor pass that time from Kachala. A chance here for 1860 Munich, and it's a really good finish that from Muller. He will tuck that one away just inside that top left corner, and despite the fact we've been on the front foot for this game so far, We are 1-0 down here, just shy of the half-hour mark. Kachala tried to get a pass off. Unfortunately, Agyakum did get on the end of that one, and Muller gets in behind our defence. To be fair, not much our goalkeeper can do about that one. It was a pinpoint finish, and we trail 1-0 with an hour left. And that was it for the first half in this last game of the season. Unfortunately, we do trail here 1-0 at home to 1860 Munich. As you can tell by the stats, we've definitely been the better team, and we had that big chance just before 1860 Munich did grab their goal, the XG, well and truly in our favour. But unfortunately, we somehow find ourselves down by 1-0. Ideally, we wouldn't have to make too many substitutions in this game, but unfortunately, a few players out there are struggling quite a bit, and it includes Imhand, who came in for Cueto, who is on a yellow card. Hopefully being a cam, that won't be an issue. We'll bring Cueto on for the second half, and also Clige for Salui only on a 6.2, so we'll make those changes and also see if we need to adjust anything in terms of the opposition instructions as we try and find a way back into this game. 1-0 down in the last game of the season. And only a few minutes into the second half, it does look like 1860 Munich here might be on the attack, but good work there from Lucas Search to get that ball back for us just inside of the opposition box. And they do try and pump it deep off the back of us clearing it, but thankfully, DeVita wins that one back. Now, nice ball over the top here for Baker Boaty, and he beats their goalkeeper from a very tight angle. It's actually quite poor there from the 1860 Munich goalkeeper, but thankfully, we went behind for too many highlights in this game. Just after half-time, we do make it 1-1, and hopefully we can kick on from here and put these guys to bed. That's a bit of a soft goal, really. It's not the strongest shot, but somehow beats the goalkeeper at that near post, and we level things up with 40 minutes left. And just shy of the hour mark, another highlight here potentially in our favour. Free kick here. DeVita looks for Search at that far post. Kachala tries to control that, but unfortunately 1860 Munich do get a chance there to clear their lines, but thankfully we win possession back and now start to try and camp here inside of their half. Dorenzo back up there for Triple B. Some good short passing, and Daniel Cueto off of the bench. Unfortunately, that one goes straight into the hands of Hiller in goal for 1860 Munich, but certainly getting on the front foot here a little bit more in the second half. And Matteo Kachala scores only his second goal of the season, a near post corner. He tucks that one away, and it hasn't taken too long in the second half for us to turn around that 1-0 deficit. If only that was the football Ferns against Philippines. I've just been watching that one. That kind of sucked, but thankfully here at Lokomotive Leipzig, we're doing a better job. 2-1 up with 25 minutes left. And very short off the back of that second goal, it's another free kick here in our favour. Unfortunately, though, we can't quite link up with any teammates, albeit put some pressure there on the 1860 Munich defence. But again, they're able to clear that one deep, and Ivizic comes out and passes that one forward to Dorenzo. Now Bullock plays that one forward to Cueto. Campanelli finds some space down that right-hand side, picks out Cueto, who nearly does enough to tuck that one away that time. A really good save from their goalkeeper there for 1860 Munich, and that does mean we have another chance here from a set piece. Can we put this one away again? Through Kachala, unfortunately this time can't quite link up, albeit Dorenzo in a dangerous spot plays that one back to Triple B, tries to play it forward. They will clear that one deep, and actually a good chance here through Muller to try and do something here on the counter-attack, but thankfully it looks like we just get enough bodies in the way there to stop that highlight, and we are still up by 2-1. And just making our way into the last 15 minutes of this game, we've got 3 players down to red hearts and 3 subs left, so those will be our last ones of this season. Omar Colley for Lucas Search will also bring on Chaiwa for Bullock, as well as Warrington for Kachala in that defensive midfield, and hopefully that will help us see out this 1-goal advantage in these last 15 minutes. And shortly off the back of those final substitutions, there is here a free kick in our favour, albeit deep inside our own half, inside our own box, and we switch that one out to Dorenzo down that left-hand side. Can we grab a cushion goal here with 10 minutes left to hopefully put the icing on a win to end the season? As I said earlier, we did struggle in yesterday's episode when we had the chance to wrap up the title. Thankfully, since the pressure has been off, we have refound our form. Looks like the Gegenpress should still be useful for us next season. Hopefully, though, it will be enough for us to stay up in the Bundesliga off the back of some results in the Cup. Earlier this year, Campanelli squares that one in. Thibaut Clige scores only his 6th goal of the season. Of course, he started a lot this season from the bench because of the form of Yakuba Salue when he got given a chance in the first part of the year, and that should be the result that makes sure we pick up 3 wins from our last 3 games. Campanelli has been very good since we've signed him this season, probably in line for signing of the season, as well as goal of the season as well from that previous game. We'll probably see that one in the end of season rewards, but thankfully that's a goal which gives us a 2-goal cushion, albeit now down the other end here, 1860 Munich do have a highlight. Rase tries to play that one for the mix, so thankfully Collie is able to claim that and switches it nicely there for Dorenzo, and maybe we can press on and get a 3-goal advantage here, albeit Baker Boatty gets absolutely harassed there down that right-hand side. Now Lasse gets a shot off. It takes a massive deflection off one of our centre-backs. It loops over Ivizic, and they do grab a goal back, and now it's game on again with only 8 minutes left. Maybe it's time for us now to start time wasting. In fact, I think we'll do that off the back of this highlight, but that's a bit of an unfortunate goal. Goalkeeper might have got to it, but unfortunately it goes over him with that deflection, and it's back to game on, 3-2, with just under 10 minutes left. And very short off back of doing some time waste stuff, it is here a corner in favour of 1860 Munich. It goes there deep inside the box, and Christopher Lannert scores his first goal of the season, and we're back to bottling things. Now that I've turned on OBS off the back of that, we'll stop time wasting. As you can see, we did try and implement a little bit of that, but clearly it did not work. Also, we'll put some more players on attacking duties, especially our right winger as well as our left one, but that is a quick fire double, and from what seemed like a pretty comfortable position, now we might not just draw this final game of the season, but if the momentum keeps up, could also lose it. Lannert there gets in the way of Ivizic, and it is 3-3 with only 5 minutes left. And we're just inside the last 5 minutes of this game. We are going to go attacking and hopefully get a win out of this final game of the season. Truth be told, doesn't matter too much, so we may as well go for it, seeing as we are still going to finish on top of the table. Free kick there to 1860 Munich. Hopefully, now we've got possession back, we can do something here with the ball, but a bit disappointing there off the back of us grabbing that 3-1 lead that we have crumbled just a little bit. Truth be told, though, there have been some quite fortunate goals for 1860 Munich. Thankfully, it's not going to matter too much, but hopefully at least we can hold on here for a draw in these closing stages. Cueto on the ball, plays that forward to Triple B. Clige did get a chance, but was clearly offside, and it is still 3-3 inside the last couple of minutes of this game. Another highlight here, and it is 1860 Munich, who do look to launch an attack to try and pinch this one with 3 goals inside the last 10 minutes. One of the goal scorers there, Inarase, just turns his back there and plays it backwards to his defenders. Now Lannert, another one of the goal scorers, typical FM fashion, he scores his first goal of the season, albeit it should avoid him doing a nudie run, but we win the ball back there down that left-hand side. Now Triple B on it again, but very similar position to where we lost it earlier, and Alase is now on the ball here for the opposition, looking to steal this one very, very late. Lannert plays that one over the top, but thankfully it will go out for a goal kick, and hopefully that will be all she wrote in this game. It does look like it will be a bit of a pointless highlight to end the season, especially as neither team has much to play for. Ivizic takes his time over this one. We'll see if anything happens inside the final few seconds of this game, but a bit of a disappointing end there, truth be told, because we were in quite a comfortable situation with only 10 minutes left off the back of that goal to Thibaut Clige. As I said, a little bit unfortunate. Both those goals they scored to equalise did have a fair bit of luck about them, but still, it's a disappointing collapse. We'll tell the guys not too happy with that to end the season, but still, it's been a very good season here at Lokomotive Leipzig. Only 3 defeats in the league and 1 in the cup on penalties, and it does mean that we are going up to the Bundesliga as champions, albeit not quite the finish that we wanted. We'll just get forward here and see what the table does look like come the end of the season, especially for those teams who were in danger of being relegated. And Kaiserslautern are the team that are going to end up in a promotion relegation playoff against the team from the Free Liga. They might be going straight back down, but also going down already are Eintracht Braunschweig as well as Darmstadt, but we unfortunately can't quite finish the season on a win. We blow a lead late and draw 3-3 against 1860 Munich. And just popping back quickly off the back of that final game of the season, mainly just to show you guys that top article there. As you can see, we've got a bit more money as you would expect for winning the 2 Bundesliga this season. We are going to get £15.6 million for that, so it's a couple million more than we've got the last few seasons, been finishing in 5th and 4th place. Off the back of that, what we're going to do, off the back of getting our transfer budget in yesterday's episode, which did seem a little bit skimp, we're going to ask the board here to increase our transfer budget and see if that leads to anything. Hopefully it will, and we'll come back and update you guys on that. If not, update you guys on some playoff results and also get stuck in to that end of season review off the back of a slightly disappointing draw in our final game of the season. And unfortunately, despite my desperate pleas to the board, they have decided not to boost our transfer budget for this window coming up, our one that does head into our first season in the Bundesliga. So unfortunately, it means probably only got £1.5 million to work with to spend on players if that's the route we go with. Otherwise, £74,000 in the wage budget, which to be fair is a big amount. Maybe free transfers might be the way to go again, but this time with a big wage increase, that could be something we can use a bit more. But unfortunately, that is still our transfer budget going in to the transfer window come the start of next week. And we've gone for about a week or so off the back of those transfer funds, that increase being denied by the board. That kind of sucks going up to the Bundesliga for next season. But we do have our end of season review, as you can see, our first trophy in quite a while since we did pick up the Regional Liga Nordost before making our way up to the Free Liga. Of course, we got promoted from that in second place, so it's our first trophy in quite a while, I believe, since the first season of this save. So it's been 5 years. But here is the end of season review already. A bit of a surprise, Luca Campanelli, despite having the best average rating, and I thought he looked like the best of our signings here this season at Lokomotive Leipzig, but somehow that goes to our new goalkeeper. Only played half a season in place of Titus Krapikas instead. In Nikola Ivizic, got a lower rating in 14 games, but still, that's a bit of a strange one there. That is what the game decides. Nikola Ivizic is our best signing of the season. I think Luca Campanelli, though, can feel a bit hard done by. He was great for us, especially when stepping in for Florian Huxa as a starting right back early in the season. The same time, we also put Saloy up front instead of Thibaut Clige, as well as that Omar Colley did a pretty good job for us as another central defend option alongside Lucas Search, Lewis Warrington and Miguel Chaiwa. Some decent backups in behind our defensive midfielders. The same applies for the likes of Osher Davida, Zayn Munlui, as well as Salah Ula Imhand, once we did get rid of Sung Bin Kim in that January transfer window. And also, of course, we did get Brainbergen on loan from Feyenoord with that injury to Yuri Bas, that broken ankle, which he recovered from quite late in the season. But most of those players did have a good first season here at Lokomotive Leipzig. Transfers out, we did sell a few players at the start of the season and did replace them pretty ably. Leon Heinke, the most significant of those in terms of the first team. And during the season, we made some big sales in the January transfer window, replacing those guys with some of those signings you did see before. Sung Bin Kim went to Daegu in the end for £180,000 after signing a pre-contract with those guys. But also the biggest transfer in the save, surpassing that one of Lucas Locke at the start of the season by a massive amount, was Titus Krapikas going to Leganes in the Liga for £4.4 million. I think that was a good deal because we did sell him apparently for much more than he is really worth. I'm not too sure about that. I think his value has shot up since playing in the Liga, but fortunately we found a decent replacement there in Ivizic, who somehow ended up being the signing of the season on half a year's work, and also loaned out quite a few promising players, the likes of Danny Hermel and Nino Gurk in particular, in that second half of the season, albeit quite a few of these guys have contracts expiring, so we will let a few of them go, but a couple here who could prove useful for squad depth up in the Bundesliga for next season. Moving forward to the season results, this is going to be really nice reading for us. It's been a really good year here at Lokomotive Leipzig. That first half of the season was absolutely superb. Did not lose a game prior to the winter break and only drew 2 against Augsburg and Werder Bremen. From late August until December, we were just unbeatable. Unfortunately, suffered a defeat in our first league game back from the break against Augsburg, albeit that was a few days off the back of a cup clash against Mainz in the DFB Pokal. From there, did start to draw a few more games, but still got on another nice run until we started to have the chance to seal the title and drop those points in yesterday's episode against the likes of Heidenheim and Fortuna Düsseldorf. Thankfully, our form picked up off the back of those nervy times, and we end up with a 2 Bundesliga record of 79 points and bet Fortuna Düsseldorf to the title by 12. Also, we had a very good run in the DFB Pokal. Yet again, this was won by our senior affiliate in Eintracht Frankfurt. Of course, that won't be the case next year because we will be up in the Bundesliga alongside them. But I would say the highlight of the season was our second round win over Bayern Munich away from home, 2-1. Absolutely FM them, but we don't mind that. And also beat another Bundesliga opposition in Mainz in the third round before getting done on penalties in the quarters. That one a little bit hard to swallow with that late red card when 1-0 up to Omar Colley. Definitely changed the game. Did that, but still, that's a pretty good effort in the DFB Pokal, our best so far, going to the quarterfinals, albeit might have to put that competition on the back burner a little bit more next season as we try and secure our future in the top tier of German football. Moments to remember: the biggest win was that 4-0 win in the first round over a team below the regional Liga in the DFB Pokal. As I said, match to remember, that 2-1 win over Bayern Munich in the second round, and somehow Luca Campanelli did not get goal of the season. We might show you that goal off the back of this end of season review, but it was awarded to Osman Tilgen for his goal. Now 1-0 win over 1860 Munich just before the winter break. This one came in the first half, just shy of the 20-minute mark. There's Campanelli, he squares that one for Tilgen, takes one touch, puts it top right corner. I think I've got one better. And this was it from our second last game of the season against Jan Regensburg. This was off the back of that 1-0 scoreline at halftime. Campanelli one touch, and from a long way out, gets some help from the underside of the crossbar, but it is a goal. I think that one was better than that one scored from Osman Tilgen. I think Campanelli's been a bit hard done by here in the end of season review with both that goal of the season as well as the signing of the season. Moving forward to the finances, our reputation for now is still the same. I imagine that might go up once we do make our way up to the Bundesliga, but everything else has gone up in terms of finances. Our top shirt sellers were Tilgen, Cueto, Salui, Davida, as well as Clige, despite the fact he did not get a great deal of game time this season. I suppose the same applies to Davida as the backup in behind of Krasnicki. Our best 11 for this past season, Titus Krapikas, does get that, even though he is in the same position as our signing of the season. Also, his average rating, not that great. Our back four, Campanelli, Gale, Search, and Dorenzo, but that was the back four we played for most of the season, albeit Omar Colley did fill in there for quite a large chunk of the season as well, but obviously didn't quite have the same rating as Lucas Search. The midfield defensively, obvious picks here. Kachala and Bullock, also the attacking midfield, Krasnicki, Cueto, and Tilgen, all on green ratings, and Salue with 21 goals was always this season going to get that spot over Thibaut Clige as he took his chance once he did make his way into the first team. At the same time, that Luca Campanelli did going forward to the accolades. The fans player of the season and young player of the season go to Daniel Cueto, did have the best average rating, as you saw before the signing of the season, and goal of the season. The top goal scorer was Jakuba Salue with 21. Krasnicki, most assists with 11. Most man of the matches went to Cueto, as well as that highest average rating. So far, no competition awards, so can't bring those to you, but some record breakers on the right-hand side. Cueto got a hat-trick that set a couple of records. Youngest player was Nicholas Fischer, who set up a goal in one of our wins on camera from memory when we had a bit of an injury crisis at left wing, and the highest transfer fee paid was for Ivizic of £900,000. Also surprised not to see the highest transfer fee received in there for Titus Krapikas as well. And going forward to history in the making, apparently the middle of our campaign was where things picked up. I would argue it was the first half of the campaign that really set us up to go up to the Bundesliga for next season and also clinch the title. And going forward to the Dynamic Manager timeline to see what's been added to this off the back of a few quiet years. And we pick things up from 2027 when we did let go of the likes of Leon Heinke and sign the likes of Omar Colley. As you can see, a few cup upsets there, especially beating Bayern Munich. That pops up twice. Also, we got to our 200th game of management with a win over Holstein Kiel. We also beat Mainz in the DFB Pokal. That also counts as a surprise. And we eventually got the third promotion of our career. As I said in yesterday's episode, where things just stalled in terms of our results a little bit, and we did go up as champions as well. So a couple of useful additions there to our Dynamic Manager timeline here at Lokomotive Leipzig, and that will wrap up the end of season review. Also, while we're here, we do have the best 11. A couple of players have been inducted. Unsurprisingly, Titus Krapikas is now in goal over Issa Dogan. I do believe Dogan was still in goal there last season, so I think Krapikas is a newcomer to that starting 11, as is Daniel Cueto, albeit this is still using our 4-3-3 instead of the 4-2-3-1 we have been using for the past couple of years since we have come up to the 2 Bundesliga, but our back four still looks the same, but these days it is Heinke, Grimm and Quetta in the midfield, and it is a Tilgen, Owusu and Ziani up front. A couple of other players who make their way onto the bench, Kachala, Krasniki, Cliche and Tom Gale as well, so again, not too many changes there to our overall best 11 for the save so far. And a quick look as well at the DFB Pokal review, and indeed we were the biggest overachievers while Bayern Munich were the biggest underachievers. That could have easily been RB Leipzig, but obviously with us beating Bayern Munich, that was always likely to be the case. We'll just go forward a little bit more and update you guys on those promotion playoff results before we do end the 6th season of the save. And we've gone forward to late May, and both the results have come in for the 2 Bundesliga playoffs that did take place, and for the first time a team that did finish in that bottom 3 are not going down. Kaiserslautern 0-0 draw over both legs there against Hansa Rostock. They win on penalties, so it does mean that Kaiserslautern will still be in the 2 Bundesliga for next season, albeit hopefully that won't be any of our business because we'll be up in the Bundesliga, and coming up alongside us and Fortuna Düsseldorf, it will be Bochum. They did defeat Hanover 3-1 on aggregate off the back of a 2-0 win away from home in that second leg. So Bochum, after finishing 3rd, do make their way up to the Bundesliga for next season, coming down alongside Hanover. It will be, if we go and have a look at the league table, Union Berlin as well as Dynamo Dresden. And there you can see the teams who are going to be taking part in European football for next season. Unfortunately, Eintracht Frankfurt didn't have quite as good a year, but of course, we're not too worried about that these days anyway. They will not be our affiliates for much longer. RB Leipzig, though, are back in the Champions League yet again, and Bayern Munich did run away with the Bundesliga title. And going forward, only a day off the back of those playoff results coming in, we have got some end of season awards coming in for the league overall. As you can see, we did set a record for the most points in the 2 Bundesliga. In terms of top goal scorer for the league, Jakuba Salue did end up in 3rd with 18, in behind Art from Holstein Kiel and Paul Krab from Werder Bremen. But we do have quite a few players in the team of the year. Gal Campanelli in defence, Kachala in the defensive midfield, as well as our entire attacking midfield with a Tilgen, Queto and Krasniki. Certainly some quite dominant signs there on our right-hand side of the pitch. Maybe need to work on some things down that left-hand side, but still Osman Tilgen to make his way into that team. And I think that's a good place to leave it for this season of the Leipzig Loko. If you did enjoy it, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well, especially if you want to see how we get on in the Bundesliga come early next week. We'll come back on Monday and get stuck in to a transfer special. As I said earlier, probably you have to try and make the most yet again of free transfers, but we'll see what we can do. And if we do spend some money on players, it might be because we sell some who might not make the grade here at Lokomotive Leipzig. Most of our team were only decent free Liga players over the past couple of seasons, playing a division higher than they should have been. We probably need to improve in most areas if we do want to make a decent fist of staying up in the Bundesliga, but still, we did beat some good teams this season. Maybe not that much changes needed, but we'll come back next week and get stuck in to the transfer window. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.
Thought I could do this, left through the sadness. Don't know how